Hi everyone, I'm Wardee and welcome. You're joining me today for Ask Wardee when I'm going through kind of our weekly cultured dairy routine. So good morning. It is first thing in the morning here when I'm getting a batch of Instant Pot raw milk yogurt going. I've already got the gelatin dissolved in the milk, which is what we use to boost nutrition and thicken it without having to rely on pasteurization of the milk. So the gelatin is dissolved and I make yogurt a couple times a week, and I try to do it very quickly after we pick up our weekly raw milk share, and I do 2 gallons of milk at a time. I do think that when you culture milk into cheese, yogurt, or anything, the fresher the milk, the better the taste. So that's why I try to do either double batches of Instant Pot raw milk yogurt or just successive batches right soon after our milk pickup, even if we're not going to eat it right away. So let me get this batch going and then we'll talk about our routine. That's just about 2 gallons of milk fit in there. Here is my culture. By the way, if you want this recipe, there's links with this video or at the show notes, askwardee.tv, look for episode 146. Gently stir in my culture. All right, in 24 hours, we will have Instant Pot raw milk yogurt here. The lactose will have been almost completely reduced and we'll have a wonderful probiotic cultured dairy food that just tastes fresh and wonderful. 2 gallons of it. Okay, so that was a different kind of start to Ask Wardee, but I really wanted you to see the beginning of my morning routine when we have a lot of milk that we've just picked up from our weekly raw milk share. Obviously, if you're milking your own animals, you're gonna have a constant fresh supply and your routine might be different. But for those of us, many of us, where we're supporting a local farm and going there or getting our weekly share, we may have 4 to 6 gallons, at least for our family, that we have to divvy up throughout the week. And so today on Ask Wardee, I want to show you how I do that. Today's question comes from Kylie G. She says, I have a request to learn more about all the ways you use dairy when culturing. What would a day-by-day schedule look like after you pick up a fresh batch of milk? I.e., ferment 2 quarts for whey, have 1 cup of sour cream for that, store half cup of sour cream, da-da-da-da-da. Get my drift? I'm trying to understand how to produce as much variety as I can with as little waste, and trying to figure out a streamlined timeline, aka week in the life of. Thank you so much for all you do to help us live the life God intended. Thank you so much, Kylie. That was very sweet. Kylie, to thank you for submitting a question that I'm answering on Ask Wardee, you're getting a free gift from us, which is a free ebook and video package. So our team will be in touch to give that to you. So this is definitely week in the life of. Our routine may vary, probably will vary from a lot of families because we're working around our unique needs and what we like to eat and stuff like that. So take it all with a grain of salt. Let this be an idea to guide you as you're divvying up your weekly milk share. We live in the Boise area of Idaho and we purchase raw milk through a wonderful local farm called Provider Farms. I will provide a link at the show notes to them if you are local to this area. And we typically get between 4 and 6 gallons of raw milk per week. Some of it is skimmed milk because I use it in our yogurt, so we get more of the yogurt actually and less of the cream. Some of it is whole milk, which I'll use to make kefir, or that I skim away to make sour cream, as Kylie mentioned, or just for the occasional drinking. Now, our family primarily cultures our milk into kefir and yogurt, and we use just a very little for drinking, like on cereal or in smoothies. So our uses are primarily dictated by wanting to culture it into yogurt and kefir, make homemade butter, cultured butter from soured cream, and things like that. So as you just saw, I took nearly 2 gallons of raw milk to start a batch of raw milk yogurt. I do it in the Instant Pot, but this can also be done in a cube dehydrator or even a cooler, so check out the show notes for recipes. Even though I just did 2 gallons right now, I often do 4 gallons at a time, so that means 2 Instant Pots running, or as soon as we do the weekly milk pickup, I start a 2-gallon batch, and then after 25 hours, it's done culturing, and so with my second insert pot for the Instant Pot, right away I start the next batch. This means that I'm making yogurt with the freshest milk, which means that it ends up tasting the best. As you know, with raw milk, it doesn't spoil, but it does sour, and so when you get week-old or 2-week-old milk, it has developed a flavor of its own, and we prefer, at least for our yogurt, just that fresh, tart yogurt taste. So that's why I try to make the yogurt right after the weekly milk pickup. And then I store it in the fridge in half-gallon or quart-sized jars like this. and then the family can eat off of it for the rest of the week. I do get additional raw milk to make kefir or for our drinking, like I said. And so typically I'll have a batch of kefir ready to go soon within our weekly milk pickup. And if I have a gallon of milk just for the rest of the week, I could make up to 4 quarts of kefir. And so this morning I strained off a finished batch of kefir, and I have grains ready to pour more milk over. Oh, and I'm gonna finish this little bit of milk here that didn't fit in the Instant Pot. Typically, I'm using whole milk or skimmed milk, doesn't really matter for my kefir. Okay, and kefir cultures at room temperature. It's such a beautiful process. I have links for you at the show notes. AskWardee.tv, look for episode 146 to learn more about kefir. But this takes 24 to 48 hours, depending on temperature, to thicken. And it has more of the consistency of a drinkable yogurt. This one's a little bit firm because I cultured it longer. But it's just a wonderful, effervescent, more tart, and also more probiotic-rich culture than yogurt. I really love kefir. Now let me show you one more thing. This is the week's first finished batch of yogurt. By the way, this is an 8-quart Instant Pot. That's why I'm talking about using 2 gallons of milk. And so this cultured for 24 hours or 25, and then it's been in the refrigerator chilling for about 24 hours. And now it's time for me to get the cultured cream that has risen to the surface and save it to make cultured butter. And I do this with every batch of yogurt, and I build up the cream until I have a half gallon or a couple half-gallon jars full, and then we make cultured butter. Now you can make cultured butter or you can make sweet cream butter. We love the flavor of cultured butter. It's basically where you take soured cream, and it can be soured cream from any cultured dairy. Here, yogurt. I also add the soured cream at the top of the kefir, and I just build it up and I make butter. And there are links for you at the show notes for making butter as well. If I had made my yogurt with whole milk, I would have a ton more soured cream. But I'm making it with skimmed milk. And again, that is so we can get a lot more yogurt production. And the butter yield from the cream that we're skimming regularly is about right for our family's usage of butter. So you got to play with that for your family. So this goes in the refrigerator, and I just keep adding to it until I have enough to make butter. And this I will divvy up into half-gallon or quart-sized jars and keep in the fridge for the family to eat yogurt throughout the week. Kylie, I think you essentially had it right on. Another thing you would do with your weekly milk share is to account for as much cream as you want, to turn into sweet cream butter, to sour as yogurt or kefir and save for cultured butter like we were talking about, or sweet cream butter that you're going to culture into sour cream on purpose and then blend with mayonnaise for our amazing homemade ranch dressing. Also account for how much milk you need on hand for the family to drink through the week and to keep kefir going. Kefir you can give a break if you store it with fresh milk in the fridge for up to a week, but these are grains that do need to be cultured frequently. Give them fresh milk, so you always have to include in your milk supply some to keep the kefir going, either for a fresh batch or some to store it in the fridge for up to a week at a time. If you're going to make cheese of any kind, a gallon or 2 of milk for that. And basically, in our family, the approach is somewhat seasonal. We go up and down on our yogurt consumption, up and down on our kefir consumption, up and down on our butter consumption. It's just somewhat in flux. Plus, you also have to account for the fact that the farm may be having fluctuations. So in the spring, when all the calves are coming, there's just tons of milk to be had from the farm. In the winter, maybe their production's slowing down, and so maybe your family has to adjust. But the way we approach it is just, what do we want currently? What does the farm have currently? And for us right now, that means between 4 to 6 gallons of milk per week to keep everything going like I've showed you here. I would love to hear from you, Kylie, or others, what your family does with your weekly milk share, including how much you get and what all you do with it. I think it's so fun to share and learn from each other. For more information on any of these topics that I've mentioned, we do have a cultured dairy ebook and video package or a full cultured dairy eCourse, and you'll find links to that with the show notes. I also have a free raw milk yogurt recipe to share with you. You can claim that at tradcookschool.com/free yogurt, where free yogurt is all one word. And at the show notes, I have a lot more resources linked for you, like where to find raw milk in your area, questions to ask your farmer, choosing the best milk and ranking it from raw milk down to making the most of what your grocery store has. Because the fact is that if you Get the best milk you can, whatever that is in your area, even if it's store-bought milk, grocery store milk. You can make it better with culturing, so everybody has options. And so just check out the show notes, askwardee.tv, look for episode 146 to find links to the free Instant Pot yogurt recipe or any of the additional links or more that I've mentioned. Thanks for joining me, everyone. I hope you'll come back next Wednesday, same time, same place, for a new episode of Ask Wardee. You can also check out the archives anytime at askwardee.tv. God bless you all. Bye-bye.